The key thing with this motion is not catching, but A, deflecting, and then captivating. The best way I can explain this is if you think of the latch on your backyard gate. The latch comes over and catches. I deflect and I use this to come in. The down windmill block. I find this to be an effective block. It's kind of an esoteric block, but in that, there's a couple things that I tweak to find this a little bit more functional in practical use. Down windmill blocks are essentially down windmill circles, right? The only issue with this is the circle is going this way. So something that's direct going in and out, I have to be on point to find that catch, to try to deflect that. More times than not, and I find this out personally, that I would get hit before and after I try to do a down windmill. So traditionally, you'd see this a lot, either with the left or right hand of coming down into this. The only problem with that is more times this is a circular motion, that is a linear motion is direct. That is more direct than this. So this happens a lot faster by the time I can do it. To me, the key thing is not making a huge windmill, which we'll talk about, and first to generate power, but we want to eventually shorten this. Let's look at a couple things to make this a little bit more functional. Instead of me blocking this way now, on a parallel plane to myself, I'm going to angle it this way. So let me explain what I mean by that. If Justin were to throw a punch through here, and it comes back out even slow, I would have to try to catch that motion in that. So that takes a long time. However, what we're going to do now is we're going to change that axis from parallel to me to a slight angle. So essentially, I'm blocking at a 45-degree angle. Now when that punch comes, that latches a lot faster than this. This latches a lot faster than the other. I'm going to cut this in versus me doing this. And a lot of times his punch, he has so much retraction on the punch I can't bring it in. The key thing with this motion is not catching, but A, deflecting, and then captivating. The best way I can explain this is if you think of the latch on your backyard gate. The latch comes over and catches. I deflect and I use this to come in. Boom. The next thing I want to do is make sure my hand's up, because just because I block this, I'm still in line with this. So here, I have something to protect myself. I also have something to counter hit with. So just between that, I've got something where I could crash into.
You guys enjoying this Kung Fu San Soo lesson? Jarrad, what should they do if they're enjoying this Kung Fu San Soo lesson?
They should subscribe to our YouTube channel and join FightElevator.com.
That's right, FightElevator.com. If you like this Kung Fu San Soo lesson, imagine getting 10 of these every month. Hope to see you guys there.
We also have knife lessons.
In combat sports and boxing, it's cool to be here, but there's nothing wrong with this in how I can use that to use in practical applications. I have some sort of guard. I have something where I can use that to come into. Circle's no longer going to be this way. It's going to come at a 45-degree angle where I'm essentially attacking his punch. My other hand is coming up protecting me, and I'm latching over. I'm latching over. This can also be done on the opposite side of how I'm using that to hit that. But watch how my hand latches. I'm hitting with essentially the upper part of my wrist where my hand comes over. I'm not trying to grab. I can't grab it. I'm latching. I'm trying to set his weight down on that foot. Oh, I'm using that to come in. Same thing on the cross. I'm latching. So a traditional exercise that I was taught growing up on how to use this was essentially double down windmill formation. So essentially, if you think about it, right now, if I'm a clock, my fingers would be pointing at your 9 o'clock, which would be my 3 o'clock. I want these to go from 12 to 6, 3 to 9, 12 to 6, 9 to 3, in proper rotation of each other. All right, so finding that cadence. I'm not using my elbows to block, I'm using my shoulders. This will help develop the proper motions of swinging my arms, not my elbows, to get this block. I could start utilizing different stances, such as a left horse, such as a kick stance, and moving in between this. So this is a way where I can do this. Now, this is just a build a skill. I'm not going to do this in the sense of when I'm sparring or practicing this huge windmill. But for this sake, think of this like a Venn diagram. I have this circle, I have this circle, and where they meet, they're going to block everything from my head to my groin. I'm using this. All right. So how can I stay in cadence? Using my shoulders and my lats versus my elbows and my hands to develop this. You do see this block in boxing. It's a lot tighter, scooping punches. So it's not out of the realm to think that this is so esoteric that doesn't work. A way to practice this with partners is essentially have our partner pad up. So with gloves, he's going to throw me jabs and crosses just at my head. Just right now, it doesn't have to be a death match. We can discuss the intensity. I'm day one, I'm trying to learn this. I tell my students a lot of times is if you start to think about being stuck in the mud, you need to have traction to get out of that. If your car is stuck in the mud, how do I get traction? Do I just rev the gas all the way? What does that do? It kicks up dirt and debris. I need to find traction. So in doing something new, I need to slowly build up traction, contact, and then we can start revving that gas, and then we can start moving out of that sand pit. So he's going to throw me really light punches, boom, boom. And I'm not going to do this every time. So he's not on any set pattern, but I want to see when I can get that block in. Good. Making sure he's keeping me honest of how I can use that in the block. Boom. Good. So he's mixing up those punches. I'm working different covers. This can be built up into combinations of him throwing more than one punch. You can build this up to whatever you want into full-blown sparring. But we are trying to develop this tool. This tool must be developed slowly and methodically. Otherwise, if you start right off the bat and everything's too chaotic, I'm not going to think about my circle. I'm not going to think about my circle going from this way to essentially in a diagonal. I'm not going to think about latching and catching. I need to be able to express all that in live training. I need to be able to where I can get that. Then I'm confident. Then we can have a discussion. Justin, give me a little bit more on that. And then so on and so forth. That way, not only am I building a skill, I'm creating a belief system in what I'm doing. Because if you have doubts in something, that is going to rear its ugly head in the worst moments of when you need to use it, and you're going to question if you can really do it. So you have to build this into a functional aspect of your training.